macro moment, unconventional macro moment CSE podcast. And welcome. If you want to go to our website, we're slowly phasing out the old CSE website, but everything that's on the CSE website is on the new macro moment trading website. So go to www.macromomenttrading.com and you can sign up for the free Cal report, which has been published for over 20 years, and goes out every Friday afternoon. Has all the emails from all the people, all the clients we have, plus answers from these gentlemen. And it shows that tell what they're doing, what problems they're having, and all that. It's really, really a great thing to look at. And you can also participate. Write us a letter. If you want to participate today, you can see us and we can hear you. But primarily, we can't hear. We can just have them fill out on YouTube there whatever questions they want to ask, and we will address those. And or whatever, we'd like for you to report on how you're doing with any of these techniques, right? Randy's, Keith's, Tony's, and Micah's, and let us know how you're doing. If you have any problems, we'll just resolve today. We got plenty of time. We're in no hurry. So usually I start off and see how Randy's done. Keith just got back to vacation this weekend, so it's interesting to see if he did any trading on his vacation, what he's up to. But Randy, why don't you bring everybody up to date of how your week has gone so far?
Well, so far, week's going fine. This market just doesn't know exactly where it wants to go these days. But anyway, it's available. We looked at on Mondays. We always have the advanced charting coaching session. That's live in the market coaching, where we're going through the advanced charting proprietary techniques from compound stock earnings, and we're learning how to read the advanced chart for better entries into any type of trading. It doesn't matter what kind of trading that you want to do outside of micro moment trading, because that's the intraday streaming charts that Tony and Micah do. But any other type of trading, the advanced chart helps you make a better decision. It looks at momentum and beginnings and endings and where things are headed. And so we teach momentum trading on Monday mornings, and we look at 30, 40, 50 different charts to find positions that are just getting ready to start a new cycle. And we identified 4 or 5 on Monday that were just ready to go, but then we started having a declining market, and so we're holding off on those. In addition to that, we have the Covered Call Platinum service that has a teaching webinar every Wednesday morning. And these webinars are recorded. They're held live during the market, so you can actually watch exactly what's going on and ask questions. But they're also recorded in archives so that you can watch them later on, either over again, or if you're not able to be there during the market, then you can watch them later on when you have a convenient time. But on the Covered Call Platinum, which is Covered Calls, the compound stock earnings way of Covered Calls is buying a long position, whether it's stock or an option, and selling a short-term call against it that's in the money. But it's in the money with a positive called return. So we want to get called out, and we want to be as deep in the money as possible so that the stock could even go down and we still get called out for a profit. And so we entered 4 of those last week, and McDonald's closed for 5.1% return for the week, Cisco at 10% for the week, IWM at 6.7% for the week, and then GLD was actually 22%, but that was for 2 weeks because we did have to do management on GLD because the gold started to decline. And so I rolled that down and out, and then it closed out last week for a 22% overall profit for the 2 week span. So the charts are what does it? Looking at the charts, watching the charts, and getting the appropriate entry.
Absolutely incredible returns out. What's amazing is Randy been with us for a long time, and I mean, like 9, 10, 12 years, something like that. And back in the old days, these returns that he's getting weekly, you were lucky if you got over the course of a month because of the changes in the trading techniques, the trading platforms, the commissions, everything that CBOE does to regulate the options business has always been to our advantage. And not over all these years, 20 years, they've never done one single thing was it to our disadvantage. And as a result, Randy's returns doing our traditional covered calls, which is uh, incredible, absolutely incredible. And he teaches these seminars. If you go to when you go to the website, check out his things he does, and you can sign up for those seminars. And he's doing these trades; these are real trades, and you're getting notified when he gets ready to do something, when he does it, when he gets out of it, so you can follow along and really learn. And it's really just a great service. And he does like I say, he's got several seminars he teaches during the week, and just really good. Now we go to our vacation boy, Keith, who just got back this weekend. And Keith does credit spreads. Keith, why don't you kind of bring folks up to date?
Yeah, it's I do the credit spread platinum service and look at doing both credit spreads and credit spread momentum trades. And if you see me looking over here, I'm watching the charts because I got into a call credit spread or CSM trade just before the webinar started, and then Nancy Pelosi came on, and so I'm watching the charts, and they're starting to bounce back now. So I haven't closed it out yet, but anyway, I do those. I do a webinar on Tuesdays from noon to 1:30 East Coast time that we go over the charts and all the trading that's being done there and what we're seeing in that. Unfortunately, when I was on vacation last week, I looked for some trades, but I wasn't around my computer all the time. And when it was ideal for that, for trades, I wasn't around the computer. So, and that's okay. So, don't have to trade, but when we do, we like to do the good trades here. I also do a 2-day credit spread CSM weekend seminar, which we're trying to schedule now, but I think it'll be probably late October will be the next one. I typically do that quarterly. And I'm around for questions during the week too, and let you know what I'm doing on each of the seeing it on the market when I'm looking at for that. So
yeah, whenever you have a question to either one of these gentlemen, just email it to them and they'll get back. But Keith, it's taking a totally different way of doing things versus these macro moment guys, Tony and Micah and Randy's regular covered calls. I just completed the 2-day covered call seminar this last weekend. Had a good time, had a lot of people. And I do that every couple of months. Randy does his, Keith does his. You can find out what all their seminars and what they do at www.macromomenttrading.com. And you can find out everything they do. You can sign up for the Cal Report, which is free. And you get it every Friday afternoon. Now, we did the micro moment session this morning, which is done every morning from about 8:30 Central to 9:45 Central Time, and then they'll break. And sometimes they come back in the afternoon, sometimes they don't come back in the afternoon. But our go-to-meeting thing stays up there all day, and you get notified if they come back. You get notified before they get back, so you can go back to your computer and everything's all ready to go. Let's see, I'm trying to get something off screen. Keeps popping up here. Let me just eliminate this thing. Okay. And where was I? So the macro moment thing this morning. These trades typically last anywhere from 15, 16 seconds to maybe a minute and a half. It's a minute and a half. It's a long time, but usually sometime within a minute. And they're in and out. And they do typically 7 or 8, 9 trades a day. Today they did 8 trades with returns of over 30%. And since we started the podcast here, Tony has done another trade. What was the return on that trade, Tony?
7.3.
7.3%, which will add in to this morning, so it'll be almost 40% for the day, and that's huge. But then if you look at Randy's, I mean, he ends up averaging not too far off that, if not maybe something more sometimes, and Keith does too. So it's just absolutely amazing. But Micah does the Apple, and Tony does QQQ at the moment. They can change anytime, but they're in and out of those things. And here we have a question from Martha. So I'll read it since she's complimenting you guys. I want to thank Micah, Tony, and Joe for their amazing teachings. I've made crazy high percentage, 100% plus a week, thanks to them sharing their knowledge with us. Good deal, Martha. Thanks very much. And Martha's also in the running. Tomorrow ends our 21st week as a subscription service. We've been doing those micro moment trades for about 3 years or so, but as a subscription service, and we'll be over 3,000% by the end of March, over 21 weeks. And Martha is one of the contenders, and probably the top contender for the Golden Pole Award, which she probably will get tomorrow. We'll have to see how she does tomorrow. And there's Deshaun. Hey, Deshaun, how you doing? He can't say anything. I forgot that. That's super groovy Martha. You've been dominating. There you go. Thanks, Deshaun. Sean's a good friend. We announced yesterday afternoon we're having our first micro moment live seminar. It's going to be what is it? It's the Thursday, the 11th of October, right? Is that the date?
10th.
10th. Okay, but it's on a Thursday. It's going to be live during the market hours, and these guys are going to be doing. We've got a limited number of seats, and it's the first seminar we've done with this, and it's going to be here in Fort Worth. It's going to be at a famous old hotel here, just right in the middle of everything. And if you decide to come to Fort Worth and attend that, you don't need to rent a car. There's all kinds of hotels within a half block of walking, and there's a free shuttle service called Molly the Trolley that completely runs around the entire area, almost 24 hours a day. And then we're going to have dinner at the one of my favorite restaurants called The Grill, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get to meet everybody, and it's really going well now as far as people subscribing for the seminar, and we don't have but a few seats left. So if you want to get in, you need to contact Sue Ann or write to support support micromomenttrading.com. Say you want to sign up, and we can take care of that. And it's not until the 10th of September. So of October, I'm sorry.
October.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Okay, why don't you guys kind of tell them, either Mike or Tony or both of you, what y'all do with your micro.
So Marcus, did you put up that last comment? We saw it there for a second. I'd like to read that. This is from Tim. Tim is one of our clients over there on the micro moment side. He's been doing fantastic. He says, thanks to Sean, up 58% this week. I'm no Martha, but I'm getting there. But we see these results with a lot of our clients, 58%, 100%, 30%, whatever. And we're seeing a lot of our listeners are, that were struggling are now in the black. A lot of their trades are in the black. So we're seeing a great transition. People are starting to really catch on to the whole concept of micro moment trading. And the concept behind this is we just kind of take the guesswork out of trying to figure out, how long we stay in trades, when to enter trades. And Mike and I go through a step-by-step process that we have, and very rules-based, and we just trade current momentum. And we try to find, momentum spikes that have a lot of power behind them or a lot of volume behind them, so that we can get our profit targets hit, as fast as possible. And like Joe said, usually the trades, we had a couple of trades today last about 15 seconds. But then we had another trade that lasted about, 2 minutes. So the trade we made right before we went live here on the podcast was about literally 10 seconds. And we got a quick 7% on that one. So that's what we do. We kind of cherry pick different momentum strands to get the percentage and the profit target that we want. And it's been fantastic to see all of the listeners get the results they're getting, and it's been awesome to interact and get feedback from you guys. We really appreciate that, and please continue to do so. Um, uh, and so it's been really good. Martha says here, thanks to Sean, it's crazy stuff. I still get very nervous, but I'm reading a book Micah recommended and helping out a lot with that. Helps with her in impulsiveness. So great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking much to Joe's disdain about a lot of mindset stuff lately as well, and figuring out how to run this mentally. We're figuring out it's very valid conversation because a lot of the people coming in are not brand new to trading. However, they've traded before, whether it was through CSE or their own techniques. And micromoment is a very different strategy. Like it's very, very, far removed from anything conventional. And one huge highlight that people are really gaining value is it's completely non-predictive. So we're never ever do we say, I think it's gonna go up to here, and it's not based on support and resistance, and we never have to figure out which direction it's going. That part is completely out of the way. So we know which direction it's going, and we're just trying to find the best entry on that side. That's really all it is. And it takes so many of the steps out that make traders lose. The thing I say is as expansive as the market is, the trillions of dollars that run through it, all the people involved with it, as big of a beast as it is, they're all just trying to answer the question up or down. That's it, really, up or down. So once you take that out, it simplifies so much, and you can have a lot better chance of success.
Yeah, I think here's what's significant. People don't realize how compound interest is so significant with Keith's technique, with Randy's technique, and with Tony and Micah. Like Deshaun has made 13%, 10%, 8% over the last few days, 31%. And I talk about this all the time, and people, I still think it gets in their head. But if you just had $2,000 in an account and you just made 6% per week, now they're making that in a trade almost. All of them, Randy and Keith, and if you made 6% per week, then in 24 months, 2 years, your $2,000 without you ever putting another penny into it, you just leave what's in there, let it compound. It's going to grow to over $800,000, $848,000, something like that. Then, particularly this is great if you're young, you start taking out 6% for 1 week, let the other 6% stay in there, and that's over $48,000 a month you're taking out, all from initial investment, $2,000. Now they're all exceeding. Every one of these guys is exceeding that astronomically, and sort of like what Micah was alluding to, is we don't try to decide if the market's going to go up or down. We're not trying to make money off something because we speculate that it's going to go up. We're going to buy it low and sell it high. We just want it to go up and down. We don't care which way it goes. We just want it to go up and down. It's that activity that we make our money on. And we have a proprietary charting that all these guys use that's very expensive to develop. And it tells them when to get in and when to get out of situations. And it's just absolutely, and Mike and Tony only work about, 5 hours a week doing these seminars, and the returns you get. Now, Randy, he works all the time, 24 hours a day. And Keith's gone on vacation most of the time. So, all these guys have different, but they use a technique that fits their lifestyle, as Micah would say. Right, Micah, did I say that right? The technique fits your lifestyle? Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, I still think, it's the most incredible thing. A lot of our clubs, we've had clients that attend these things we've had for 15, 20 years, still attend these seminars. There's another question from Tim. I'll get to it just a sec, Tim. Leave it up there, Marcus. And what gets me is people that have kids used to, get out of high school and they ship them off somewhere to an expensive school and run up a lot of debt, and they get out of school and they can't hardly get a job because they don't know anything. where you could give them $2,000, let them take of course, many of these guys in 24 months they could be making 40, $50,000 a month, and then they can go to school, they can go to any dumb school they want to. Doesn't make any difference. This is from Tim. This morning, you guys talked about getting out of a loser as quickly as possible. Stop the mindset that it will turn around. Can you talk more about that? Okay, Mike and Tony, whichever one want to talk about that.
Yeah. So we talked about using bracket orders in these short time windows of momentum to help you visualize your risk parameters, and knowing what you're able to lose and what you're wanting to gain from a trade in these short momentum time strands is essential to having long-term success, because you need to know what your loss limit is, your stop loss per se, and you need to have a target in mind, and you need to have that set. And what this bracket order training strategy that we have been talking about is it helps you visualize all of those parameters, all those risk parameters that you're willing to make on a screen, and you're actually having to input an action towards your risk tolerance. And so the reason why we need to know this is because we need to get as emotionless per trade as many trades as possible. We don't want emotion affecting our decisions, and we need to have very disciplined approach to our profit and on our loss side.
Now, Tony, as you say that, and then every time we sit there and we listen to Micah during those trades y'all do, and he does get emotional. He gets, fanatical sometimes.
Yeah, but he's still a fantastic trader nonetheless. But it's just good to understand the whole risk parameter as you enter the trade. How much am I willing to lose? And that's going to set you up for a great amount of success. And that's what we have been trying to, teach this bracket order strategy to help visualize that. It's like we use the reference, it's like having training wheels on your bicycle. And that's what the bracket order is. You get used to your risk parameters, profit and losses, that once you start acting immediately and effectively on your trades, you can not use the bracket order anymore, and have developed a habit that is emotionless, maybe not fully, but to a large extent, where you'll have long-term success. So that's what the good talking points we've had this morning. But I wasn't able to read that last question.
Yeah, Marcus.
I'll jump on that.
Okay,
Tony and Micah, what are your recommended trading platforms that only require a 20,000 minimum account or less? And what do you recommend for their ease in making trades? Most of the platforms I can think of are below a 20,000 account minimum. I think the only one that was above that was Interactive Brokers back in the day, and I think even they're way down now. Now the struggle is how many trades we make. We'll make multiple a day, pretty much every day. So that puts you under something called PDT, which is Pattern Day Trader Rule, which only allows you to make 3 trades every 5-day rolling period if you are on a margin account. Anything under 25,000, and you can only make 3 trades a week. Obviously, that won't work for Micro Moment. So the options, obviously, a lot of people aren't in a position to say, oh, well, I'll just put it over 25,000. Then you can have your broker transition it into a cash account. Now, how a cash account works, and this is pretty much any broker offers this, how a cash account works is you have your set amount of cash. We'll go with $20,000, and you can spend that in a day on trades. Whether you want to make 1 trade with $20,000, that's all you can do that day. If you want to make 2 trades of 10,000 or 4 trades of 5,000, you can do that. So that gives you a way to make an unlimited actual number of trades, like your actual trade count, and still give you access to the strategy with a lot less capital. So that's what I would recommend. And as far as platform, I use eTrade Pro. Tony uses TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim, and then we're looking at TradeStation too. So account like platforms are they really come down to preference. They're all very, very good and very professional, all the main ones, and it's just whatever you get used to.
Yeah, I think the key here is this use of margin, and that's what Micah said. You know, if you use a margin, then you're going to have those limitations. But when you're trading, what they're doing with the options, you've got maximum leverage because an option is a fraction of the cost of a stock, and so you're not borrowing money, because borrowing money on stocks will absolutely wipe you out doing what we do with covered calls and with Keith's credit spreads, and with these guys micro moment trading. So we don't use any leverage, we don't use any margin, and so we don't have any kind of leverage margin expense. And the other thing is, you can get a brokerage account with someone like Merrill Lynch, and a number of the other 2 or 3 of the other big New York Wall Street firms have no commission trading. You got to have, in the case of Merrill Lynch, I think $40,000 in an account or something like that. You get no commission trading, and so that's a good way to go. You're doing the trading, you're not paying any commission, and that's how ultimately the street's going to get. Everything's going to be no commission ultimately because of the competitive situation, and it's slowly, we've been predicting that for a couple of years now, and it's really kind of accelerated. So, okay, let's see. Did we miss another question there, or did we get them all so far? Marcus, you have any more questions? You go pop up there for the moment? Nope. Okay, there's James. Okay, Fidelity will not negotiate fees of $4.95 a trade, 65% contract, unless you already made, I didn't see the very last 500 something. What was it? 500 trades per year. Okay, what about that, guys?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
$4.95 and 65 cents is actually daytime robbery anyways. So there's absolutely no benefit to that. And 500 trades, usually when they speak of trades, entering in is one and exiting is another. So that's 250 trades completed, which you probably do, but 65 cents is not anything special. And at the price point we trade at about $1 per contract, or less sometimes. So it is the per contract rate that you really want to focus on. The per trade rate is so trivial when it comes down to it, and you need to get that per contract number down. And to put that in perspective for you, we have clients on the webinar that are paying 40 cents a contract, 30. One guy is as low as 20 cents per contract. So 65 is you could walk in and get that anywhere with any size account. That's nothing special. So
yeah, we're getting ready to do something new too. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago, it takes a little while to get it organized, but the trades that Micah and Tony do are going to consolidate into a TradeStation account that we're going to have our money in there, and then that's going to be audited. We can't audit theirs because they have other things in their personal accounts, just like Randy and just like Keith. But this will be we haven't decided if it's going to be a monthly audit or a weekly audit, but their trades will actually be audited so you can really see, exactly and precisely that they're doing what they say they're doing, without having to go into their personal accounts, which have other stuff in there. And that's going to start up here. We're in the thrones of just finalizing all that. They've got their paperwork and going to start getting familiar with the TradeStation trading. And so probably maybe into next week they'll start doing real trades in there, and then we'll start coming up with things being audited. Probably on a weekly basis. Makes sense to do it on a weekly basis. You can do it on a daily basis, drive everybody crazy. Probably cost $1 jillion just to have audited. So. Yeah, I think that's pretty significant. And okay, anything else? Do we have any more questions there, Marcus? Okay, with the 40 cents a why don't you guys take that?
With the 40 cents a contract, what is the per trade cost? This is Lannon.
It's just easy. If you do 100 contracts, it's $40. That's
Yeah.
40 cents is okay, but you can get that lower.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends. And when you're at 100 contracts, that's a sizable trade. I mean, if you think at $1, that's what, 10,000? It's a $10,000 trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so 40 bucks on 10 grand is hardly anything. But yeah, it just depends on. A contract is 100 lots, like 100 units, so to speak. So if you're paying $1 a contract, you're actually paying $100 for. How do I say this? It's 100. Yeah, like 100 shares, so to speak, is one contract, and you buy them in units of 100. So it's only that price for the contract. But since a lot of options contracts are like $8 to $12 is like a really standard range. We're all the way down at $1. We have to buy a lot more shares, so that's why the per contract price is a lot more important. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have some more questions? Okay, Dave. Hi, guys. Looking back at the charts at the end of a day, helping seeing what I did right versus wrong, helps me better spot momentum as well as reasons not to enter a trade. Okay, who wants to take that?
Awesome stuff, David.
Did I get too philosophical?
No, it's good stuff. Keep it up. Glad that works. That's a great way to hone in your skills and seeing momentum when it happens real time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the not trading is something we talk about, a lot. Like 99% of the time that the market's running, we're not in it. If we're in and out in 40 seconds, then the majority is spent sitting there getting ready and just cherry picking. So being aware of not only what the indicators are doing to get you in, but like today we had a situation. It seemed like everything was going to push up. We had E2 and 3 nice and low, ready to cross up, and then E1 took off. Really started to push up strong, but we didn't see the reaction from the tick. It wasn't pushing. So that lack of action was very clear that call had no actual strength. The Bollinger Bands weren't opening up; they were staying parallel. And once you figure out the basics of what you're looking for, like Dave has, then you can go back around to it and start to see what's missing, and it keeps you out of some of the trades that you would have lost on before. So
these things that Mike's referring to, E1, E2, these are on our chart. These are lines on our chart, and there's several items there that when they're doing this seminar, they're watching, and you're watching because you're seeing the live chart also, and that's why it's such a great technique to learn, as is Randy's and Keith's, because you can see exactly and precisely what's motivated them to get in a position and to get out in such a fast period of time. So what he's talking to, in case you're not familiar with it, those are indicators on this proprietary charting that we have. It's when he says E1, E2, and red arrows and Bollinger Bands and all that kind of stuff. So
super powerful charts too. We would not be able to do. That's part of the reason micro moment is so different, and we're able to do that time frame because these charts are based on momentum, and they're totally different than what you're looking at when you open up a trading platform and you see the candlesticks and VWAP. It's a whole different ball game. So really, really useful charting.
Okay, Randy, you just been sitting there being so quiet. You must be your earphones are off or your microphone's off or something. You have what kind of
just watching charts, looking for entry points.
How do you use the charts?
I'm always looking for the beginnings of cycles, whether they're short term for the day or whether they're for the week, and then looking at the support and resistance levels for how deep in the money we can go.
I think in Randy's trades, they can be a minute trade, 2-minute trades, but they're structured differently. And it's interesting because Randy's, when he buys a stock or buys a leap and sells a call, he has the ability to manage that position. He is not doing it hoping the stock's going to go up. He's primarily, his number one thing, he just wants the stock to stay in business. Just stay in business. And we got in our selector in the toolbox that picks the best stock and calls to sell for a covered call. The 3,000 or 4,000 stocks out there, and it picks the best ones, the highest yielding to the lowest yielding. And you pick those based on having some diversification as to about 5 industries. And you start off with a stock in each one of those. As your account grows, you got 2 different stocks in the same industry and 3 different stocks in the same industry. And so, but he's got the ability, if that stock goes down after he gets into it, he buys the stock and sells the call. Let's say he pays $30 for the stock, and he sells a 5% return, so it's $1.50. He's got 5%, and that would be 60% a year uncompounded. Okay, but then the stock drops a couple of days later. He's got the ability to buy back that call for a profit and sell the stock, and or end up with a profit overall. Or he's got the ability to just keep manipulating it through the use of all the things in the toolbox, and he can keep making money where that stock goes up or down. He can get out of it multiple times a week, or he can stay in it and just keep producing income. Tony and Micah don't have that ability in the micro moment. There are no techniques to save a bad deal. So to save the bad deal technique that they use, they've absolutely perfected it, is to just get out fast when that sucker heads down. Like for instance, today they had 2 losing trades. One losing trade for 2.13%. Yesterday, 2 losing trades, 1.04, 1.9. Well, that's more than offset because each one of those, yesterday they had 31.94 and today 30.48 or so returns over 7 or 8 trades. So that's what they've mastered. Tony and Micah used to not be that good a long time ago, but they've mastered that now and they're excellent at it, and that's their management technique. But it'll be amazing because you'll see either one of them get into a deal and then you suddenly say, it's weak, it's not doing whatever, and this is we're out, we're getting out now, and they'll get out. Hopefully they break even. Sometimes they use a fraction, but it means nothing compared to their total returns. So, and then Keith has more management ability also. Keith, why don't you kind of talk about what happens if one of your deals starts going bad?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of trade it is. A credit spread, you can either roll things out or roll things up, and there's techniques for rolling it up if you're getting close to expiration, then rolling back down if it doesn't look like it's going that way. I don't particularly like management, so I try to get out if I can on the trades. Now, like the one this morning that went bad, I'm still watching that one, the CSM trade. I'm typically try to be in these for like 5 minutes to an hour. And it's gradually been climbing back up now this morning because it found some support there. So, I could have gone and exited for a loss on this morning, but the charts really showed, and I'm using the 2-minute CSM chart and the 1-minute ICE chart, and I'm watching where it's finding support and on that. So those are important charts for me that I use for my trading. And so, I still may take a loss on this particular trade, but it's not going to be nearly as much as if I panic and just pull the rug out of it on that. So a lot of it depends on experience. And I talk about these. In fact, I'm doing screen captures of these charts right now that I'll talk about on the webinar next week.
Yeah, it's interesting the way Keith got hooked up with us. We haven't done them in a long time, and we're probably going to start back up doing them again. We'd have a seminar where it was a 2-day seminar, and on Saturday morning we had a client that had excelled in some particular technique, and he would give the seminar Saturday morning. In the afternoon, we'd have another client, and he would do it. We had these 4 people that had excelled on their own using our techniques, and we pulled them, and there'd be several hundred people at one of these seminars. We'd have a a big cocktail party on a Friday night, and then a big dinner for 200 or 300 people on Saturday night. And then the seminars were on Sunday. And Keith gave his presentation. He was going to make 1,000% in a year, and that was with standard covered calls, right, Keith? Something like that.
Yes, it was.
And then what happened was the last week, just right before the seminar was supposed to be held, something happened, and he didn't get to 1,000. He got over 900. And we knew nobody would believe that. So he was nice enough to furnish during the seminar. He had them up on the screen, and we still have them, every page of his brokerage statement. So you can see every trade for a year that almost was 1,000%. Now, nobody on the face of the earth, would do that. So these guys are all good. Tony, Mike has been with us a long time. He's been with us since he was 17 years old. Look at him now. He's an old man. Kind of got a long beard, kind of, moving slow. But these guys are, talk right, and no, nobody can believe these returns. But they're there. And when you get to know them, there's, go ahead and read that one, Micah. Martha.
What's the name of the book that Micah recommended? Again, much to Joe's disdain, it's called The Psychology of Trading. I usually keep it right over here.
Oh, his dog got him. See?
Yeah. Psychology of Trading. It is by Brett and there we go. Brett and Steenbarger. Basically, he is actually a psychiatrist and a day trader, and he relates his understanding of how our minds actually work to the mental processes of trading. He relates situations with his clients to experiences he's had with trading, and really just goes deep into a lot of mindset stuff, and it's really
He probably made more money from the book sales than from his day trading.
I would imagine, yeah. Yeah, I think he was a pretty standard trader. I don't think he was outstanding, but
according to CBOE out of Chicago, 80% on losing money. So
Yep, it's true.
Oh, here's a friend. If you were to ballpark a time frame for trading successfully using the micro subscription trading system, the worst and best case scenarios, what would you say? Who wants to take that? Go.
Are you referring to time frame during the trading day? If so, the best time to trade micro moment is first 2 hours and last 2 hours of every day.
You might be talking about he or she might be talking about like how long it takes to reach competency, and that is a pretty big range. We've had a couple people that have been on for just a couple weeks, and they really start to get a hang of it. They're at a strong baseline, and then within another month they're getting pretty darn profitable. Some people have been with us for the start, and they're either flat or still trying to figure some things out based on their own learning scale. So there's just a lot of variables. If you're a trader already, what kind of habits you have, what other strategies you're coming from. But yeah, anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months, I would say. It's pretty broad.
Okay, I want everybody to remember the website, www.micromomenttrading.com, and anything that's on the OCSE website is on that one now. And you can find everything out about Keith and about Randy, and about Micro Moment with these two gentlemen on that website. And you can sign up for the Cow Report, which is absolutely free. It's been published for around 20 years or so. If you need to find out about our first ever Micro Moment trading seminar during live hours on a Thursday during market hours, you can go to support micromomenttrading.com and ask about signing up for that seminar. We're going to have, like I say, It's going to be really neat. Downtown Fort Worth is a great place. You don't need to worry about traveling, all over the place. You can just stay in a hotel, or you may live here, whatever. We're going to have a great dinner at Del Frisco's Grill. That's Saturday night, or that night, I guess. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. These guys are coming from I guess, Micah's coming from Seattle, and Tony's coming from up in the Washington area. And these seminars, where they be for Randy's or for Keith's, you meet the neatest people and smartest people, and you learn so much. You can learn something in 15 seconds talking to one of these guys that if you don't talk to them, you're never going to learn, because it's much simpler that way. And so it's really important to attend these things. We've been doing it for a really, really long time. So if we're about 45 minutes into the podcast. That's usually about where we cut it off. Y'all have any last things, or if there any last questions, Marcus? Are there any last questions that pop up?
No, I think we're good. We got most everything out there.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody have any last brilliant words here? No. Thank y'all. Thanks for people attending. Somebody gonna say something?
No, I said all good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we will terminate the podcast for the moment, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.
Have a good
Hope
weekend.
everyone have a good one. Good weekend. Take care.
Yeah.